Hello, I'm Bianca and I am 30 years old. It's been a while since this happened, but I do want to talk about this particular incident while the details are still fresh. So allow me to start from the very beginning. The first person I want to introduce you to is my husband, Matt. Matt and I had met all the way back in high school. I was a shy kid and I suffered with way too much anxiety to make friends, but somehow, for only God knows what reason, Matt took a liking to me. We had happened to be paired as lab partners in chemistry, and we got to talking that way. It took a long time for me to be a lot more open with Matt, but when I did, Matt asked me out on a date. Now, keep in mind that Matt was one of the most attractive guys at our school. He was athletic and smart. I was an anxious mess, but I was not stupid or blind. Of course, I said yes to him. Our one date turned into many, many more. The longer I spent time with him, the more comfortable and open I got. And I loved that I could finally express myself around someone else. Matt was also super caring and understanding of me in general. He never forced me to do anything that would make me feel even the slightest bit uncomfortable. I had quite literally hit the jackpot with him. Then I want to introduce you to my mother-in-law, Olivia. Olivia had lived a tough life. Her husband, Matt's dad, had died when the boys were very young, so she had to raise them all by herself. I will never not say that I was always in awe of how she managed to raise two kids all on her own. What I will say is that it was an issue that she was so unbearably overprotective of them. Well, if not both of them, she was definitely very overprotective of Matt. I know this because the first time he brought me over to his house to introduce me to his mother and brother, she scowled at me. I'm not even serious, her face twisted into this ugly expression the second she laid her eyes on me. That was enough to make me shrink back into myself. After that, she just always seemed to have a vendetta against me. She never let up the opportunity to talk trash about me. I didn't pay it much mind initially, but when I heard them every time I was over, or just happened to run into her, it started to get to me. So I spoke to Matt about it because Olivia always only spoke that way to me whenever Matt wasn't around. The next time we were at dinner with his mum, and she made a rude comment about my appearance right as Matt was leaving the room, he walked right back in and confronted his mum about what she said. "Mum, you can't say things like that!" "What? What are you talking about? Don't play dumb. Both you and I know that you just said something really rude about Bianca's appearance. It was just a little joke, right, Bianca?" "No, it's not a joke. I know that you've been doing this for a while. Do you even know how much effort she puts in to impress you, even though you just treat her like crap? Oh, please. There's no need to make a big deal out of nothing. Apologize to her or I'm leaving and not contacting you again." "Oh, God, you're always so dramatic. Fine. Sorry for saying that, Bianca." I knew Olivia wasn't serious about her apology, but it felt amazing that Matt stood up for me. I was grateful that he had my back no matter what. She continued to behave the same way, even years after Matt and I were together, but it became easier to bear knowing that Matt had my back. The next person I'll introduce you to is Trent, Matt's younger brother. Trent was the only other person who made an effort to talk to me. He took an interest in getting to know me, and because he was Matt's family, being comfortable around him was a lot easier. We happened to share a lot of the same interests and in general got along really well. Matt was actually really happy that I got along with at least one of his family members. For the longest time, I really thought that I had made a special friend with Trent. But well, as I tell you the events of the story, you'll realise just how wrong I was. And the last person I want to introduce you is Rachel, Trent's wife and my sister-in-law. Now, Rachel was the kind of person to bend over backwards to please someone else regardless of whether the person was right or wrong. So when she met Olivia for the first time, they got to talking and Rachel pretty much agreed with every view that Olivia had about me. Pretty soon, Rachel became Olivia's partner in everything that they did against me. That really hurt me. I mean, Rachel didn't even know me. She even made an effort to get to know me. But she hated me because Olivia did. Over time, I learnt to let go of it, but coming back to my relationship with Matt. We decided to get married once we were both financially stable. That took about 3 years after graduating college. Once we had well-paying jobs and were able to purchase a house, we decided to tie the knot. Of course, Olivia was not happy with that. She tried to sabotage our relationship in many ways while we were engaged. For example, she tried to convince Matt that he was settling for me without ever having gone out with anyone else. She tried to set him up on dates with other women, which he vehemently disagreed with. That one really hurt. I knew she didn't like me, but to actively try to make her son a cheater... Something was deeply wrong with her. Matt had spent days assuring and reassuring me that he would never cheat on me and never listen to anything his mother had to say about me. I knew he would never do it, but just the fact that Olivia was trying to get him to do it hurt. At our wedding, Olivia pulled another stunt to disrupt the good mood we were all in. When it was her turn to make a toast, she began to talk about how her son was marrying a woman she disapproved of and genuinely hoped that he would come to his senses soon and leave me. I cried, obviously, but Matt was furious. He had her kicked out, and for the rest of the night, he never left my side. That incident was what made Matt and I lose contact with Olivia. We didn't speak to her, except for the holidays, for the entirety of the next 2 years. We only saw her at Trent's wedding. We tried our best to avoid her because, quite frankly, we were happy for Trent. We were trying to celebrate his big day. But somehow Olivia managed to corner us and she asked to talk. Matt didn't want to give her a chance, but I asked him to let her speak. After all, we could hear her out, but we didn't have to accept what she said. Look, I just wanted to say that I'm really sorry for everything I said that day at your wedding. If you were really sorry, you would have come over to our place and apologized. You had 2 years to do it, but you never did. I was embarrassed. There was no way for me to behave on my son's big day, and I should have realized that if my son was happy, I should have been happy too. I guess I just didn't have the courage to face you. Okay, but we did call you on the holidays and your birthday. Even if you couldn't apologize face to face, you could have done it over the phone. It was just very hard for me, okay? I'm still doing it. I'm owning up to my mistake. I'm sorry. I'm still angry with you, and if Bianca doesn't forgive you, we'll go back to the way we've been operating these past 2 years. I liked that Matt allowed me to have a say in it. Unfortunately, I was very big on keeping family close, so of course I told her I forgave her. I didn't want Matt to be estranged from his only parents. Olivia seemed very grateful, and for a while after that she treated me well. Then, about a year later, she went back to her old ways. Only this time Rachel joined her too. They would constantly mock me, be it in things I said or did. It didn't matter because they always found a way to make fun of me. I tried my best to let go of things and kept Matt calm too. I knew that if either of us said or did anything, it would only end with us cutting all ties with Olivia, and I didn't want that for us. But one weekend, Matt and I were rudely interrupted by Olivia, Rachel, and Trent. It was supposed to be a weekend where Matt and I would sleep in and catch up on a bunch of shows that we had started watching. But that plan went out of the window when we heard banging on the front door. I lazily made my way to the door, and as soon as I opened it, Olivia and Rachel pushed past me and walked in. Trent followed them too. Each of them held a box that looked a little heavy. As Matt walked over to the living room, I could see that he was just as confused as I was. What's going on? What are you guys holding? This right here is proof. Proof of what? Of you having an affair? Excuse me? What? What makes you think that I've been having an affair? I always knew there was something wrong with you, and I was not alone. I felt the same way too. I mean, at every family gathering you suddenly had work. Once or twice it's fine, but every single time, that's suspicious. It's not suspicious. I'm literally an on-call nurse. You guys just happen to be there whenever I get called, and I get called in other times too. Wow, you're bold. You're lying right to our faces when we have proof. Matt, I swear, I haven't ever cheated on you. I don't know what proof they have in there, but I promise you it's not me. Calm down, Bea. It's okay. I doubt you'd ever cheat on me. I'm just curious to see what Mum and Rach found. Believe me, your views about your wife are about to change once you see them. How did you even get this evidence? Rachel and I hired a private investigator who followed Bianca around for the last 6 months. We just got the evidence from the PI's office and we came here straight away. That's beyond creepy and violating. What the hell is wrong with you guys? You have no say in anything, you cheating piece of crap. Enough! Let Bianca and I see the evidence. I was furious at this point. What had I ever done to these two? I had always made sure that I had been out of their way, and yet they tried to come between Matt and I. And to hire a private investigator to follow me around for 6 months, that made my skin crawl. Who did something that deranged? All to get rid of someone they didn't like? I was more than curious to see what these results were. Matt looked at me, and for a moment we had a silent understanding that everything was going to be okay. Matt knew I could never cheat on him. The reason? I have really bad social anxiety. It's almost crippling. It takes a long while for me to get comfortable with someone. He knows firsthand how he had struggled to get me to even talk to him. The last thing I could possibly do is talk to some stranger and sleep with them. Granted, working as an on-call nurse had been helping me get over my anxiety. I would come home after work and just shut down for the next few hours. And Matt had seen and dealt with all that from the start of our relationship. I had never met someone who was so understanding and patient. I had always thought that I would end up being single for the rest of my life. So, when the universe dropped the perfect guy for me in my lap, why the hell would I do something so horrible to him? We opened one of the boxes and saw quite a large number of pictures, and there were some of the investigator's notes paired along with them. But in all of those pictures, there weren't any clear faces. This woman did look shockingly like me. For a second, my heart did drop. I turned to look at Matt, and his face had drained of colour. I began panicking, so I searched the pictures for any signs that might prove that it wasn't me. I could hear Olivia and Rachel sniggering behind me. I was so close to giving up and crying until I came across this one picture, where this girl had a tattoo on her right arm. I had no tattoos. I showed the picture to Matt, and his fear turned to confusion. It was like we were speaking in a silent language. I immediately knew that we had to figure out whose pictures we were looking at. We opened the other 2 boxes and began to scour through those pictures and notes. And that's when, in one of the notes, the investigator mentions me getting into a car with a particular license plate. That license plate looked very, very familiar. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, so I showed it to Matt. He took one look at it and burst out laughing. All of us stared at him in confusion. Matt then leaned down to my ear and whispered whose car it was. I was so shocked that I couldn't help but burst out laughing too. Olivia, Rachel and Trent looked very confused now. They waited for either Matt or me to explain what we were laughing about. But that never happened, because Matt and I kept going through the pictures and just laughing even more. This made Olivia and Rachel really irritated, so they spoke up. What's going on? Why are you guys laughing at the proof of Bianca cheating? Yeah, are you one of those couples that don't mind a third person? Oh God, no. Absolutely not. We just found out something really, really funny. What could possibly be funny about cheating? Oh, that's not me in the pictures. Yes, it is. We looked through a couple of the pictures and it's definitely you. Look at this one picture. See the tattoo on the girl's hand? Yeah, Bianca doesn't have any tattoos. What? What if it was a temporary one she put on so she could avoid getting recognised? I honestly hate having tattoos on me. I've never even put a temporary tattoo on me. Okay, well, we made a mistake. What's so funny about that? What's funny is the identity of the man in these pictures. The man? You can barely make out who that is. How do you know who he is? Because of the investigator's notes. Here, take a look at that car plate. Do the numbers look familiar? Rachel grabbed the paper out of my hand. Olivia and Trent gathered around her to read the paper. As soon as they read it, I could see the range of emotions that they experienced. Olivia's eyes grew wide and her mouth fell open in shock. Rachel's face went white, while Trent began sweating profusely. You see, the number plate was that of Trent's car, and the more you look through the pictures, the more you begin to clearly see that the man was Trent. Matt silently passed the pictures over where Trent's face was almost clearly visible, save for either a mask or a pair of sunglasses that he used to cover his face. Now, I didn't know why Trent was cheating on Rachel, but I must admit that it was really sweet to see Rachel's world come crumbling down the same way she wanted mine to fall. I was curious to find out why Trent was cheating, but I decided to just let Olivia and Rachel start the drama. I retreated and stood next to Matt. We were both trying our hardest not to break into laughter. "Trent? What is this? Are you cheating on me?"
Listen, I can explain. Are you serious? This is not how I raised you. I'm sorry, but I never loved Rachel to begin with.
What? Are you serious?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Why? What did I do that was so wrong?
You didn't do anything wrong, Rach. I was just...
Just what? Spit it out! You can't possibly hurt me more than this.
I was just in love with someone else from the start.
Who was it?
Bianca.
What?
Excuse me? What the hell is wrong with you, man?
Really? You were in love with Bianca? You chose this ugly witch over me? Why? Since when?
I've been in love with her since Matt introduced her to us. She was just so beautiful, and she was calm and quiet. I don't know, I liked that. Plus, when she did get comfortable enough with me, I found out that we shared a lot of the same interests. Oh God, I'm going to be sick.
So you found someone who looked just like Bianca?
I knew you guys were already trying to ruin their marriage. I sort of hoped I could speed it up, and if they did get it divorced, I could swoop in and have her.
First of all, she is not some property that you can have. Secondly, get the hell out of my house.
You are sick and twisted and beyond any help. I hope you rot. Never come back. Never speak to me or Bianca again. As for you guys, Mum and Rachel, I want you out too.
But we didn't even do anything.
You did enough. I entertained your little game, but now I am done. It's beyond disgusting that you hired someone to follow my wife around, so you could try and break up my marriage. I want nothing to do with any of you. Out!
I can't even begin to describe how queasy I felt. That was the last thing I expected. I just remember Matt holding me until I started breathing regularly. I was disgusted by the way Trent saw me. I had only gotten comfortable with him because he was the only one in Matt's family who actually tried to get to know me, but to find out that he had made that effort because he wanted me was beyond disgusting. Matt was not feeling any better. He was fuming. He couldn't believe that his own brother was capable of being such a creep. He promised me that he would stand by any decision I made regarding everything that happened. I obviously wanted zero contact with all of them, especially Trent's. I never wanted to see his face ever again. Of course, Trent did try to reach out to me about a month after everything had happened. He actually tried to convince me to leave his brother again. I later found out that he had sent those messages to me after he had gotten divorced and lost everything he had to Rachel. I had blocked him right away then, but when I think back on it now, it's amazing that he possessed that amount of audacity. Anyway, I had to go back to therapy for a while after that incident. I needed a place to vent about my feelings, and since it's concerned his brother, Matt would get to wound up about it. He too went to therapy to sort his feelings out. It's been about a year since all of that happened. Matt and I have moved on, and are living full and happy lives. We haven't seen or heard from Olivia or Rachel since then. I hope, if not anything else, that they learnt to never meddle in anyone else's life. Back then I was a mess after finding out what Trent thought about me, but now I'm at a place where I can laugh at it. I'm glad I came out of it strong, and even more glad that Matt and I's relationship also grew stronger. Always make sure to be kind to all those in your life. Thanks for listening.